Review Board. Just like to let everybody know that these meetings are televised live. So when you approach the podium, please tell us who you are and the business you represent. And if you have plans, you can just lay them out at the desk next to the podium. So before we get into the agenda, I'm going to ask Tim to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, so we have 4 items tonight on our agenda, and hopefully it'll move pretty quick and we'll get you out. It's kind of too nice tonight to be inside all night. So, first item is DRB 2018-10, the application of M3P Partners at 427 East Lancaster Avenue in Wayne for a new building. Mark? And just to let everybody know, Mark was in last month and presented some plans, and we asked him to come back, and I think you want to finalize a couple things. Okay.
Good evening. Mark Janicek, representing M3P Partners, developer of the proposed 22-unit condominium project at 427 East Lancaster Avenue in Wayne. In our last presentation, we had presented 2 different facade options that we're looking for some feedback, and as a result of that, we left our previous meeting, went back to our design and marketing team, and came up with the facade that you see here, which is a exterior brick veneer and a metal panel assembly and a base course of cast concrete. And in the last meeting, you had requested that we bring some samples of what those finishes would look like. And so, as you could see on the screen in the lower photograph here, is a Glengarry brick product. The specific one is their item or model number 53DD, which is a product that has a little bit of undulation as compared to a what sometimes is called a wire cut brick, so that it has a little more character to it. You'll also see that within the palette, it has some slight color variation. And as you look at the facade of the building, you'll see that there in fact is slight variation in the color, and this is what an actual representative large full-size scale photograph of what that is.
Good.
And then in addition to this, although this is not a good
Mark,
color.
I'm sorry, is there a handheld there, a hand on mic if you need to?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So in addition to the brick, this is an example of a manufacturer called ATAS. ATAS is a metal panel manufacturer. They have many different profiles. Essentially what these panels are interlocking metal panels that are applied over membranes and rain screens to allow proper water runoff behind the panels. And in this, which I know is a hard visual to see, but the proposed panel that we have is this interlocking panel here. And I apologize with the glare of the camera. I don't know how well you can see that. But that panel assembly is what you're going to see at the main entry, which is here, and then also in the upper section of the building as well, which you see in the front corners of the building. And these panels are applied either vertically or horizontal, and as you see this panel right now, this is an example of, it's tough to say or see it because it's not a complete. This is one of obviously several panels that would interlock, and when they interlock, they create a different reveal or pattern within the panels themselves. So these are the primary exterior finishes. The only one that I wasn't able to get for today's meeting, and I apologize, is a sample of what the cast stone looks. And just as a reference, the exterior of this building actually has a similar combination of materials, different design, but there is cast stone on the exterior of this building as well. So that would be the base course that you see in the rendering. Any questions?
Colin?
No, I do not have any questions. Looks like you went with the first option.
Yes, that was correct. We struggled very much so. The original one, as you know, was more of an industrial warehouse look, and ultimately the design with the more modern look.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Very nice, yeah. Tim, comments?
No, I think it looks very nice.
I'm sorry, Tim, you're going to need to get your mic on. Okay.
I think it looks very nice.
Do you plan on doing any like monument signage on the street?
We had contemplated that, and at this point, we're not. The only signage that we have is the numbers, which is the 427 actual street address. As the project further develops, and if we determine that we want to do a monument sign, we certainly would come back in
Yes.
front of the board and present that.
Tim, you have lighting down also.
Yes.
You're going to talk about lighting a little bit?
Yes, so
Okay.
I believe that there are 3 different areas that we wanted to present today. Was obviously the facade that we just looked at now. The second thing was the lighting, which I'm prepared to go over that with you next. And then the last thing was the landscaping plan. Those were the 3 presentations that I had. So if you don't have any other questions on the facade material, I could roll right into the lighting.
I think we're okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay. In your package, you would also have a copy of the proposed lighting. And the location for the lighting, there are upright poles, and you'll see where I'm pointing to right here, which is the pole and the light fixture itself. Within the package that I gave you, there's also the exact foot candles, the specifications, the sizes, etc. And that would be in your package, and bear with me as I go through. This would indicate the manufacturer and model number. And then attached to that are the pole specifications with the sizes. And then we also have specifications of illumination, etc. So that's all part of your package. And I think the primary thing is, and you'll request information as required, but that is the aesthetic design. And then the next thing would be on the plan that I'm showing here, we'll show the locations. There are 3 areas that are proposed for these pole lights, and they are directly adjacent to the drive that parallels the front of the building and the walkway that is in between the driveway and the property line. So this is our driveway, our property line, and the proposed lights are here, here, and over in this corner of the building. So there are 3 uprights that are proposed, or 3 pole light fixtures. And then in addition to that, which is also in your package, there are 3 uplights on the building that are proposed, and that would be here, here, and here. And the uplight is this product. And again, in the package, you will also have all this corresponding size, specifications, illumination, foot candles, etc.
So this would illuminate the building facade, not the ground?
That's correct.
Okay.
These are just subtle wall washers that are proposed on the front of the facade.
So theoretically, they would be flipped.
That's correct. As you're holding there, it would be an uplight.
Adam, go ahead, Tim.
The location where the uplighting is, where is that in relation to the doorways and the entrance? And if I'm trying to look at the
Yep.
the design here.
Sure. So the building, as you may recall, is actually 2 buildings, 11 units each, 3 stories, common garage that connects the 2 buildings. So as we look at this rendering, this is actually the first building, and then you could catch the back end of the second building in the rear. So for ease of locating those, I'll point out on the front building, and when we go over to the rendering, the uplighting is going to be right next to the garage doors, which are, you could see just the shadows of the garage doors in here. So the uplighting is actually coming up this pier of bricks in this area. And then the second uplight is the connector link of the 2 buildings, which is here, hard to see in this rendering, but that's the 1-story connector, which is the garage below. And then the third is a similar location on the back building, which would be, again, an uplight on one of the primary brick pier areas. So the idea is just to softly wash the 3 areas, the main building, or I should say the front building, the connector, and then the rear building.
No lighting for the west side, Mark?
No, the intention was not, because there's no entryways there.
Okay.
And then also is the neighboring project, which we're certainly sensitive to light
Yeah.
spillover, so that really wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
Of course, the code required illumination and exit doors would be there, but they would be small sconce-type lighting.
Okay.
There would be not any kind of substantial lighting.
Okay. You guys go with that?
Yeah, no questions?
Mark, the only thing I'll ask is, on the pole lights, do they mimic the Wayne lights a little bit or
Yeah,
not?
you may recall, and I apologize, it didn't bring in this package, but you may have the package that we presented in
I'm sorry.
the last meeting, and we actually did a survey of the immediate 3 or 4 blocks left east and west
Mm-hmm.
of the subject property, and they are very similar, not
Good.
identical,
Mm-hmm.
but the scale, the size, and the design is what I would think is complementary.
Okay, good.
They're not an exact match. Some of the fixtures that we're referring to are some of the older traditional buildings, and they park directly across, well, diagonally across the street, but they're complementary to, because we have what we construe as to be a more modern building. We wanted something that had a little bit more of an edge to the modern side as compared to the other ones that are a little more traditional.
Okay.
And that was the intent. And again, in your prior package, I submitted a photograph for your reference of maybe 4 or 5 different representative light fixtures that are dotted east and west of the subject property.
Okay, good.
And what color are the lighting?
Black.
Okay.
Okay, good. We okay with lighting then? Colin, you
Yes,
all
sir.
right?
I'm good.
Okay,
Okay.
good. So
Then-
landscaping?
Yep, from here we'll move to the landscaping. And in your package, you would see the landscaping plot plan. In addition to the landscaping plot plan, on the same plan is the tree schedule and then plant list in the lower end. If we look at the plot plan itself, I'll start with the furthest end, which parallels the railroad tracks. There's very limited planting on that end. There's some existing planting there, and there's a privacy fence and the railroad tracks. So there's not anything that we're really shielding, so to speak, limited planting in that area. Then as we come to the east side of the property, which is the main entry facade, again, the areas that we've been looking at, so that would be the east side for this facade. The property line, we have a heavy coverage of various deciduous plants that you'll see again specifically in the tree schedule and the plant list, with the intention of giving a real nice privacy property line. And it essentially starts from the south side all the way up to the north side of the property, and again is directly on the property line. We had communications with the property owners, left and right, which happens to be the same owners of both on the east and the west side. They participated in what they had hoped for, and I think our goals were the same. Their concern was privacy, security, safety, et cetera, which is the same thing that we would have. We don't necessarily want people walking from their property to ours. They also don't want property owners from ours to theirs. So in addition to the heavy screening that you see, there's also a fence that is in here as well for the same reason. More
Both
of a
sides?
security safety issue.
East and west?
Correct, yep. When you look at the west side of the property, again, not a primary area of the property, limited traffic. So in that end, very similar species, but not as densely planted as you would see on the east side. On the south side of the property, there's some lower lying shrubs. They're not necessarily large trees, except for the the 3 trees that you see here, but there's not a heavy screening. Obviously, we don't want to cover the front of the building, so they're more low-lying shrub plantings on the front of the building. And these are more deciduous trees as compared to the evergreens that are the primary privacy planted shrubs and trees.
What do you think, guys?
Looks great.
You all right?
Yep.
Questions?
No questions?
No?
My one question, I think we talked last time about the common area, that it was going to be a
a roof deck of some sort or some type of green roof?
Yeah, so this rendering won't clearly show that, but we have the primary buildings, as we said, if we go back to the rendering here, the two mirrored buildings. So right in the center, which again, I apologize, you can't really see great in this rendering, but that's directly in the center of the property, which is here. That is a one-story area, and that is a flat roof, and that is going to be a more or less green planted area. And that's going to be, I won't say completely filled, but complementary. Some of the plants that we already see specified in here would be also planted on that area. We're not going to plant any huge, large trees just because of structural concerns and et cetera. So there'll be more smaller, lighter weight shrubbery in that common area.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, it's going to be a great project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys all right? Any
Are
other
these
questions?
rentals or condos?
Condos.
Okay. Any other questions?
No?
You're good, Colin?
Yes, sir.
Mark, any other questions for us?
None at this time.
Okay. And I guess you'll turn in the cuts of the poles and everything to the township for their files, right?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
good.
Yep.
Okay. Who wants to take this one? Okay.
In the matter of DRB 2018-10, approval for M3P Partners LLC, 427 East Lancaster Avenue, for the approval of facade, lighting, and landscaping. Motion to approve.
Okay. Do we have a
Seconded?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks, Mark. Lots of luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, next on the agenda tonight is DRB 2018-14, the application of Dayton Lock Company at 324 West Lancaster Avenue in Wayne for a ground sign. Hi, Nelson.
Yeah, hi, Nelson Dayton from Dayton Lock Company. And I really just want to replace my sign that's over the years is deteriorating and it's not very good looking. So as you should have, I think, in your packets, it's same size. We're taking out the little triangular logo. And we're also, even though the existing sign is compliant with the code, we're moving it back a little bit out of deference to some of the people that leave Manila's Diner. We've had a limited number, but a few complaints that they can't see well enough to pull out safely. So voluntarily just going to move it back, and we're accomplishing that by there's two posts right now. We're just going to move it back and put it on the rear post, take the front post out altogether and just have a one post. Be the same height, same size. And
Nelson, you had the Radnor Township Police come out and make sure the sight line and all, correct?
yeah,
Okay, so that's
they
already
did
been
that in
done.
years past from the very first complaint.
Yeah.
And then they did it just recently just to make sure before I came here to get approval. They came out and measured it again just to make sure.
And they were okay?
Yeah,
They
they
were
were
okay?
okay with that, right?
yeah.
The placement of it, because
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
supposed to be 10 foot off the cartway, and looks like Nelson's going to be 11, so you should be in good shape. So, okay, good. All right, so Nelson, you're going to pretty much have a box similar to what you had then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you going to put the phone number on there? I see add phone number with a question mark.
Yeah, the question mark is if it's allowed. I don't know.
It is.
It is, yeah. So I don't know whether I'm going to or
Okay.
not.
Or you can put your
I might-
website.
Huh?
You could put your website
Yeah.
or phone number or both.
If I did those things, I guess it'd just be along the bottom. But that would be the only change from the picture, yeah.
Okay,
So actually, as you can see, it's coming back 19 inches, so it's a substantial amount of extra viewing space.
right. Okay. Well, it's a pretty simple application there. Meets the height requirement, and square footage requirements, and what do you got? Questions, comments?
I love the additional 1 foot, what is it, 7? For,
Say it again.
I like how you moved it back.
Oh,
It's-
yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, it's not a problem for me, and if I
Right.
would have known it, you know, I would have put it there in the first place.
And you're just using the existing posts.
Yeah. Well,
The
of
one in
them.
the rear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great.
Will they need to recover that post? Is it a good enough shape or repaint it or
I think
anything?
they're gonna paint it.
Paint it, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Tim?
I have nothing. I think it looks nice. I think it'll be simple, clean cut.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll give you the option, Nelson, of putting your website or your phone number,
Okay.
if you want to put that on there.
All right.
I guess the only thing we would ask you, if you do change the look, if you could just give Peggy a copy of the new, copy of the sign.
All right, okay.
All right, appreciate that.
And I guess that would be the same color as the
Yeah.
of the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it
I
the
think
same.
it'll look nice.
Okay, naturally, it's going to be an opaque background at nighttime. It is internally lit naturally, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So is it okay that if I do put the phone number, that can light up or not?
Yeah,
Okay.
positively. Mhm. Yep. Okay. All right, what else?
I'm fine.
Colin, you're fine. Any other questions for us, Nelson?
No?
You're okay? All right, Tim, you want to take this one?
In the matter of DRB 2018-14, the application from Dayton Lock Company LLC for a new ground sign, move that it be approved.
Here, a second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Nelson.
All right, thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. All right, next is DRB 2018-15, the application of Playa Bowls at 150 East Lancaster Avenue in Wayne for a wall sign. Hello there.
How you doing? Jim Dale, Playa Bowls.
Hi, Jim. So you're a new business in town,
Correct.
and how about if we give you the opportunity to give you a little commercial time? You can tell us a little about your new spot.
Sure. We sell acai bowls and fruit bowls. It's kind of a fad or a craze, if you will. That's what we do.
Is this your only location?
We've got. I'm a franchisee. I owned 2 stores, one in Bethlehem and one in Easton, that I opened in the fall. And I think there's about 30 stores open already, and about 50 opening in the next 2 months, something like that.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
Yep.
Good,
Pretty
lots of
crazy.
luck.
Thanks.
Okay, good. All right, so you're coming in for a sign tonight. Why don't you tell us what you have in mind? And-
Sure, it's just a metal sign, a metal back sign with letterings with our logos on it, and it's just a pretty simple sign.
Is that kind of corporate look as such?
Yeah, that's their logo and
That's-
their motif, if you will.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Are the lights existing,
Yeah, the lights are existing.
and you plan to reuse them?
I'm gonna try and reuse them. I gotta make sure, but if I don't, I'll use the same model, if you will.
If you think you'll change up the color or keep them red or?
It's open for discussion. You know, I mean, I can have them painted or replace
Yeah.
them if you guys feel it's necessary. It's not really a big matter in my mind.
For consistency, it would look nice if they were black, but I think that's.
Yeah, if I think if we had a choice.
problem. If you're
know
doing
one
it,
is-
I think
I
that-
know one is missing currently, so I'm gonna have to buy at least one, so if you
Okay.
want me to put black ones up, that's fine.
I guess we'll let him make the call,
Yeah, it's
right?
your call. but-
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You know, just.
Are there goosenecks on the neighboring properties? Do you know?
I
I
don't
don't
know. I don't
think-
recall.
Just curious.
I think some of the others are backlit signs.
Yeah, I think the eyeglass store is next door, and I think they have a box sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have no goosenecks. Just so you guys know, actually,
No.
we're really not allowed, they're not allowed to mount signs on a rooftop, but there's certain places in town where we have no choice, so we kind of have to let them mount it there.
Gotcha.
You know, most people have more of a facade, and you mount it on the facade.
Yeah, I think the roof line here is kind of almost a vertical loose roof line anyway, so
Yeah.
there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, so
with it.
that's what's happening in this location. But the only thing, Jim, we would mention also, just tell your sign manufacturer you can't see the fasteners. So
Okay.
use a blind fastener.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and then, I'm sorry, Colin, you were going to say?
No, I guess the lights would remain because it's a non-illuminated sign, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys okay with the letter size? It's a little on the bigger side at that location, but I think it's going to look good.
I think it works.
Yeah.
Is that part of, I know with franchises, a lot of times they tell you this is the sign you need to use, this is the font and all that. Is that where this came from? or-
Yeah, they give us the font, and they don't say like, hey, this is the exact size you have to make it, but it's the way they kind of this is what we want it to look like, yeah.
Is this similar to the ones that you have at your other locations?
It's exactly the same.
How long have you had your other stores? Been a while?
Well, I opened my first store in September in the south side of Bethlehem, and then my second store in Easton I opened December 1st.
Huh, You've been busy.
I'm really busy,
Yeah, I can imagine.
amongst other things I do, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any more questions or comments? No?
Comments?
Just-
No, actually, yeah.
Jim, just a couple of things, just to make you aware of.
Sure.
You are allowed to do a little bit of signage in your window,
Okay,
but you're limited to 20% max.
okay.
Okay, no more than that. And I don't know if your address number is on your building?
It's actually above the door.
Okay.
It's there, yeah.
Okay, good. And the other thing, you'll see a lot of these A-frame or sandwich board signs out on the sidewalk, but you're not allowed to have them.
Okay, yeah.
So
About that.
they do pop up, but yeah, they're against code.
The other question I'll have, and I don't know what the ordinance is or how it works, but I know it has to come back in front here. Like, I've noticed some of the other businesses in town or in that mall have a bench out front. How do you guys view that, or what's your, I don't know how, I'm just kind of asking, like how does that work?
We never really legislated that or anything. I think, they're not against code or anything like that, I don't believe. So I think it's as long as it's tasteful and not in the
Okay, yeah, yeah.
pedestrian walkway or
Right.
anything like that, I don't,
I think you just have to maintain 6 feet, right, for the walkway?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, more and more of those are popping up, but in a way, they're not too bad, so. All right. And I guess you're not going to have outside dining in that location.
I don't think there's enough space there. to be
Okay.
honest with you.
All right.
I'd love to, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
if you decide to try, you'll have to come back.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. All right.
I guess the business, I guess the model, it's a lot of takeaway. Or is it-
Yes and no. Like, it is a lot of takeaway, yeah. But there is seating inside, and the kids people and customers kind of hang out for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of food is it exactly? You got me
All right. It's
wondering.
it's
All right.
hard to explain.
Okay, all right.
So I'll show you some
You guys
photos.
know what it is?
I Googled it just
I'll
before
put it
the
up on
meeting.
this.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't see it. I'll just come up and show you if you want.
Okay.
So we make these fruit bowls.
Yeah, you want to just grab the handheld so people can hear at home? Do you know what it is, Colin?
I do not.
You do not? Okay, all right.
All right, so we make these fruit bowls, and they look like that. And there's like superfoods underneath, like acai
Okay.
or pitaya.
Why don't you put them on the table, maybe at home, maybe you can get a shot of it. The overhead camera might be able to pick that up for the viewers at home.
That's what they are. It's acai bowls, and we top them with granola and fruit or like chia seeds, and then there's bee pollen on. So there's a whole menu of different stuff that you can choose to put on top of them or have put on top of them.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. Jim, you have any other questions for our board?
I don't think so.
You okay? You guys good with this?
I'm fine.
You're all right, Colin?
Yes.
Okay, you want to tackle
Sure.
this one? Thanks.
The matter of application 2018-15, application for Pliables, new sign on 150 East Lancaster Avenue. Motion for approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
lots
good
of
night.
luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, last on the agenda tonight is DRB 2018-16, the application of Villanova University at the Pavilion, 800 East Lancaster Avenue in Villanova, for a modification to the wall sign.
Hi, good evening. Chris Kowalski representing Villanova University. I brought a computer, but I don't have the right connection, so I have a printout I'm going to show you guys. On your agenda tonight, it says we're here to talk about a wall sign, but that's actually not the case. I know we were here in October to go through some signage and ornamentation for the renovation to the pavilion that's ongoing, well underway. And tonight, we just wanted to show you some updates to the ornamentation. The signage stays the same. So, this rendering indicates the previously approved ornamentation that came before you in the fall. We have the pylons over here. We have the logo and graphics on the building, and you see the signage for the building name in front of you. And there's no ornamentation along this wall. So we just want to talk about updates to those three elements. Here you sort of see some of the updates. We've updated the pylons. We've updated what is going to appear on the wall. It's actually the wall behind which is the pool, the pavilion pool. And then there is some indication of a name for this area, which reflects a donor commitment. When we were before you in the fall, this was the design of the pylon. I know Nick was here, and I wasn't able to be there that evening, and he explained that these are going to be used to highlight players on the teams, men's and women's basketball. We did not have, we had the materials, we did not have the height. We had not fully designed that, roughly 8.5 to 9 feet at the time. We've refined the design. Pylons are very similar, a little bit taller at 11 feet, but same materials and same number of those leading down the walkway. When we were before you last, we illustrated on that wall a blue or a color V, university's logo, and then a potential to have some design around that on the building. We've rethought that, and instead that design will still be the Villanova V, word basketball under it, but none of that decoration on the side. So there won't be the panels and there won't be any writing there. And you can see that this logo is roughly 8 feet by 8 feet, and it's about 13 feet off the ground.
Right.
All right, and so the final thing here is to talk about the name that's going to be assigned to that walkway area. Again, here it was in the fall. You can see there was no name assigned to it. This building renovation is being funded entirely by donations, so we've worked hard to figure out areas where we can do some donor recognition, and we've put this name here, indicating its name, McMahon Way. You see how it fits onto that pedestal wall. This is some illustration of how it will be composed, some letters, very similar to the ornamentation and signage on the rest of the building. You can see the name of the building in the background again. Those letters are more prominent. They're in the background. These are in the foreground. This name would be roughly 13 feet long, roughly 11 inches high, and the letters themselves are about 8.25 inches high, made of aluminum or stainless steel, mostly with no color, but there are some blue accents, including the Villanova logo. And then that's how it'll look. So again, we just wanted to come in and update you. We thought that the changes were probably relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but different enough from what we showed that we wanted to make sure you had a chance to take a look at it and provide any
I appreciate
comments or
that.
feedback.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think?
I think aesthetically it looks very nice. I was curious, as to the McMahon to see whether it was for, walk on Nick McMahon, but I guess it wasn't.
No. Although he earned it this year, certainly.
Yeah.
No, we have a donor with that last name, and we actually have somebody who works in our fundraising department, and we know he'll be shooting his Christmas photos, his Christmas card photos there every year.
Okay. Colin, what do you
Yep,
think?
Looks great.
No, I think it looks great.
Great.
Yeah. And I don't think, everything meets code. I mean, we need to look at that, the V, and it's
Sure.
under 15
Yep.
feet from grade. You said it's like 13, so, yeah, I think we're fine.
Great.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
How's the project? Is it on schedule for next season?
I believe it's on schedule. We have a hard deadline.
Yeah.
Got a banner to raise.
Mhm.
So
Right.
they're able to, the benefit of that project is it's almost entirely inside with the exception of some of these outside elements. So
Yeah.
they're able to not have too many weather-related delays.
Mhm. Good, no, it looks great.
When was that building built? You know?
Opened in January of 1986.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it use much besides basketball or not?
It is. It was a multi-purpose facility And I think just about every user would tell you that meant it didn't do any one thing very well at all.
Okay.
So the renovation, we'll still have multi-uses of it, but it'll be primarily a basketball facility.
Gotcha.
So was that building planned before the first championship?
It was.
Wow.
It was. It was.
Interesting.
So now we just need to plan another one every couple of years or so.
And it'll still be used for law school graduations?
Yeah, that's we have to figure out. So this is the challenging commencement season where we do not have a indoor rain location. And we're doing all sorts of dances and crossing the fingers and toes to have a good forecast for next weekend. But yeah, we would go back to having law school there and then use it as a rain location for the main commencement ceremony.
I had my high school graduation in there.
Yes.
Did you really? Huh?
Yep. Yep.
Where's the statue of Jay Wright going to go? Had you figured
We
that
left
out?
room for that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what else, guys? Anything else? Good shape. Chris, any questions for the board? All
Nope.
right?
And if anything, again, changes, although at this point I don't
Sure.
think it will, we'd be back in front of you.
Okay, good. Tim, you want to take this one?
Sure. In the matter of DRB 2018-16, the application of Villanova University for an update approval of ornamentation and signage, I move that the application be approved.
Get a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, it looks like that wraps up tonight, unless we have any other things to bring up as far as the board goes. We're okay?
I have nothing.
Okay, meeting adjourned. See you next month.
See you next month.